the Tibetan issue is very much, it's a human rights issue, you know, an atrocious human rights issue, and there are other issues, you know, there's Burma and there's East Timor, but Tibet has become a case study, you know, it's become a case in point.
Tibet? Why is this cause important?
The cause is important because something is being destroyed. Something that is defending itself with a policy of non-violence is being destroyed. And to take no action against it is to complicitly agree and condone the apathy of governments around the world.
I think that Clinton just really needs to start to take responsibility for U.S. business going into China, where we're pouring so much money into China right now, and to do that without pushing for human rights is terrifying.
共产党那种残酷和纳粹的那种残酷是一样的，有的时候是大家难以想象的。
The torture employed by the Chinese communists is exactly the same as those employed by the Nazis. This is something I believe is very difficult for people to imagine.
This time I get noise. I get noise. Y'all ready to get noise, DC? Y'all want to get noise? Check this out. Well, my city. What's up? With your bad self, front of things. And with your nasty ass breath, with your other thing. I'm Micah D, back from the dead. Here in DC, and I'm not dead.
What are you hoping to get out of this year's event, year number 3?
Well, definitely, first off, like when you're talking about this many kids, I think it's great that there already is the awareness and that there is the support there. And I think it's really important to show, especially right here in Washington, D.C., that support that exists. And then I think in terms of like what you're covering or what the media is covering, that's sort of the next step. It's like all the coverage that is surrounding this event that then is hopefully reaching people who maybe don't know about the situation in occupied Tibet yet, or don't know about the human rights abuses in China yet.
My father was from a communist country, and he told us firsthand what it was like, but I mean, I'll never know what it's like. And I don't think Americans will ever really know what it's like, but I think this is a good way to start educating all of us, including the Chinese, frankly.
This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get. You mess with us.
We need to point out that it's a global problem and that people in Britain and Europe are as concerned and are doing what they can. I mean, I know that the cattle prods, earlier the monk held up these electric cattle prods that he'd been attacked with, tortured with, and they were almost certainly made in England by a British company. I think, you know, so we are all culpable.
So right about now, I use my authority, cause I'm like the wizard and they look lost like Ority. So harm me when I return for my real people was a split wing, hitting like some double desert eagles. 40 cats full low and baggy slacks, protecting all the rappers who lack over Herbie's tracks. Severe facts about the rap game to near collapse. So as I have in the past, I will back.
You can hear the big crack. Sound like a pipe bomb or some type of explosion. But it was lightning. You could see it from up top.
Please listen. This is important. We're not kidding around. I want everybody on the corners to back away from the Jumbotron.
Listen to the floor, to the floor.
fall to the floor. The angel closes her eyes. The confusion that is heard belongs now to the baby down home. Oh, my feeling, call me and back again like a rolling thunder chasing the wind, forces pulling from the center of the earth again. I can feel it. Lightning crash, I'm on the crying. This moment she's been waiting for, and it slips right in on her. The angel opens her eyes, pale blue-colored eyes, presents the sun and puts the glory out too high. Oh, my feeling, call me and back again like a rolling thunder chasing the wind, forces pulling from the center of the earth again. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it, call me and back again like a rolling thunder chasing the wind, forces pulling from the center of the earth again. I can feel it. I can feel it, call me and back again like a rolling thunder chasing the wind, forces pulling from the center of the earth. I can feel it. I can feel it. Coming back like a rolling thunder, chasing the wind, forces pulling from the center of the earth again. I can feel it. I can feel it.
Free Tibet. Thank you very much.
Okay, where are you ladies all from?
Toronto. Yeah.
You came an awfully long way. You disappointed?
Yeah. It really sucks. Yeah.
Have you heard anything about why the show was called off?
Yeah, because the weather. Yeah, the weather. Because this storm's just gonna get worse. It's not gonna blow over.
I was in the very front row when they canceled it, and I'm very disappointed because I want to see Tracy Chapman.
I know,
really bad.
Tracy Chapman, she's so awesome.
Are you going to come back tomorrow?
Definitely. Yeah, we're gonna be here.
I don't wanna run, but I can't walk. Never would've known it.
913-9735.
Well, what a difference a day makes sunny skies here in Washington, D.C. for day 2 of the Tibetan Freedom Concert. Day 1 was cut short after 4 people were injured when lightning struck inside the stadium. As a result, Tracy Chapman and Beck have been forced to cancel their appearances altogether. But R.E.M., Radiohead, and Sonic Youth have all been scheduled into a jam-packed day 2.
Monopoly 21 checkers and chess.
All right, who are you here to see? Any particular band?
Probably Pearl Jam most. They just don't tour much.
Okay, I'll dedicate this next one to the abusive relationship between us and our government. That's what it seems like it is. We just get shit on and there's nothing we can do about it. We come back for more, and so dedicated to our friend the president, and it's called Can't Find a Better Man. She tells herself, waiting, watching the clock. It's 4 o'clock. It's got to stop. Tell him, take no more. She practices her speeches. He opens the door. She rolls over, pretends to sleep as he looks her.
We are here to tell you that the American people and people across the world care about what is going on in Tibet. We are demanding an end to the suffering of the Tibetan people, and we are demanding that justice be done.
The concert is an excuse to promote the rally, you know, because the rally is the thing that actually will do some good. Although there are a lot of kids signed cards over the weekend apparently. On Sunday they had 40,000. That's pretty good, you know. 40,000 coming through President's letterbox.
Got more rounds to make yourself tango. Where over in the Boston. So shake your drum, so everybody just shake your drum, and everybody just shake your drum. Somebody just shake, somebody just check this out.
the Tibetan struggle is really something that's to benefit all people, including the Chinese oppressors and everyone. And so, I don't know, to be involved in something like that has a lot of pure energy to it that you just kind of feel inspired.
Well, as well as speakers for the Tibetan cause and politicians here on Capitol Hill today, there are also musical guests, including one very special unannounced performer.
If you hear that your neighbor's sick, you give him chicken soup. If you hear that neighbor far away is being brutally tortured, and you love this neighbor, of course you're going to get on the road and get to them and see what's going on.
Right now, where you can do a little shopping, everything from hemp products to toe rings, and at the same time you can also educate yourself. The cause?
The music. Yes.
Cause mean anything to you?
Not a whole lot, no.
Okay. You know a lot about it?
Not very much, but I'm here to learn.
Okay.
I'm here to learn. It's about the learning.
I think the only thing that really is holding China together at this point is kind of the idea of China as one nation, and they're afraid it's a huge country, and they're afraid that if Tibet splits off, then other provinces, minority provinces, will start to split off as well. And so it's an issue for them, and also it's a very strategic place. Tibet is high in the mountains and on the border with India, so it's a very strategic point in Central Asia.
I came to see the Beastie Boys, and I'm here to support Tibet and their cause. No one should be suppressed like that. It's just not fair. Just try and do everything I can to help them out.
So you're here for the cause or the music?
Well, both, really. I mean, I was first attracted to it because of the music. I thought I'd have a good time, but I'm also here for the cause because I think it's a very valid way to spend some ticket money. Not counting the money we made from this concert, we've raised about $1 million. But this concert should give us another $1 million, hopefully. And the money will be both distributed in grants to Tibetan refugee communities and then also going into our educational programs as well.
How much do you know about Tibet?
Not as much as I'd like to. I mean, I saw the movie 7 Years in Tibet, but I'm not too knowledgeable on it.
Are you learning stuff this weekend?
Yeah, I am, and I want to learn more too.
Music Plus talking to Mike Mills. We've got him next. Stick around as we continue our coverage of the Tibetan Freedom Concert 1998.
Ever
You are watching MuchMusic's coverage of the Tibetan Freedom Concert. This right here, this is the press tent. This is where media from around the world converge to try and get one-on-ones with bands. It's a very difficult thing to do, but we are very lucky. Today we've got live here. Greetings, guys. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I got stuff on the mic already.
All right.
That off.
You want
just pick it up.
I'll pick the stuff off on the mic.
All right. So there's media from around the world. Germany, Japan, Canada. Have you had any interviews with Chinese media yet?
No, we have not had any interviews with the Chinese
here?
media.
I don't know if I think so.
I don't think that they came to cover the event, you know.
I shouldn't eat that.
I imagine they probably wouldn't have the freedom to do that.
Does it concern you that the Chinese government has now said that they're not going to let people who are performing here today come and perform in their country now?
I think it's primarily this entire cause is about choices. We're fighting for the people in Tibet to have the right to choose. And we chose as a band to be here, and we knew that that was basically going to get us blacklisted. And oh well, that's the way it goes.
The grand schemes of things, it means nothing, you know? I mean, to think about what we're here for and what about the real suffering and the real injustice. We can't go to China, you know? That means nothing to me right now. It means nothing.
Performed here today. Did you think about that? I mean, the Chinese government said you're not allowed anymore.
Right. No, the Chinese government said that. But the Chinese people know what KRS is about. They got my albums. They know what I'm about. They're seeing me now. They know what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I think the Chinese youth are like, word, let's get rid of this government so I can push a Benz down to Tiananmen Square and yell out my window, what? That's what Chinese youth are thinking about. Trust me.
The Chinese government has issued a statement saying that they're not going to let any artists who are performing here in. What does it mean to you, though, that they're actually coming out with a statement like that at this point?
To us, actually, it was a sign of at least there was some recognition coming. That there's actually, in a sense, I think it's even, in fact, progress, because finally the Chinese government is recognizing the concerts and the artists that are playing here, and if that's their reaction to Western artists exercising their freedom of speech on the issue. Imagine what it must be like for people who live within China in terms of them being able to speak, having no human rights or freedom of speech and not being able to speak their minds on these things, or if they were to speak their minds, what the consequences would be. At the Tibetan Freedom Concert goes directly to the Milarepa Fund. It's a non-profit organization devoted to the concept of promoting compassion and nonviolence worldwide. What that means is the price of your ticket goes directly to a good cause.
The Milarepa Fund is all about raising awareness about what's going on in Tibet and the situation that the Tibetan people are under right now, the oppression that's been going on there for 40-some years. And then we're also about supporting other groups that work for nonviolence worldwide. We work closely with other groups supporting nonviolence all around the world.
Okay. What other groups? Can you name me some?
Well, we've offered our support for Australian Aboriginal groups in the past and Native American groups, just to name a few, the National Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty, these kind of groups.
It's the highest cultural manifestation to demonstrate and show no violence. You know, Martin Luther King.
I have a dream. My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
It is the peak of culture in a way, I think. Not using violence.
That was just a dream. Try, cry, try. That was just a dream. Just a dream. Just a dream.
Would you be able to keep a philosophy of nonviolence if you were in an oppressed situation?
No, I don't think I would, which is why this is such a focusing issue for people, because that's why it's so easy for people to rally behind the people of Tibet, because they are dealing with this in a way that's almost superhuman, and most human beings would not be able to not lash out. So no, we're all that's why we're in such total sympathy with the people of Tibet, because they are being passively resisting. I mean, I learned a long time ago that violence is not the way to settle any issue at all. It usually just gets you in the hospital. So, but at the same time, I like anyone in the Buddhist faith, which I'm not, but which I admire greatly, you're constantly looking for self-improvement, and part of that is usually to be calm and peaceful and nonviolent, and that's something that we should all aspire to, and I do.
Could you keep this philosophy of nonviolence? I would feel violent. I would feel...
I'm not that strong, and I think it takes a stronger person to internalize and overcome things with love than it does anger.
Given the size or lack of size of my muscles, I think it'd be a good idea for me to remain non-violent, because if I got violent, I'd be down within, like, you know, a few seconds.
Non-violence to us is Martin Luther King style, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's Malcolm X style too. We got a double sword edge, you know what I mean? Mad respect to the monk, you know what I mean? He does what he does, we do what we do, but at the end of the day, it's all about peace.
I wouldn't want to be advocating violence here, but you know, it's your country, it's your religion, it's your homeland, it's everything. I mean, you can see why violence erupts.
Enthusiast, are you not? So how do you reconcile the fact that you like guns with a non-violent message?
Very simple. I don't like killing people with my guns. I collect them. They're aesthetically pleasing, and I shoot targets with them, and I really more collect them than anything because you don't get a chance to shoot too much. But that's like saying somebody who collects hammers, how do you justify all the hammer murders that go on? Or people drive cars. There's more car deaths than anywhere else. I believe in responsible firearm safety. I think that America definitely has a gun lust to it. I mean, if you look at Canadian history, the same time we had the OK Corral and Tombstone and all these shoot-'em-up heroes, Canada, like 4 people got shot, you know, in the whole of Canada. It's because people had faith in the mounting system. Here, there's this association of freedom with kind of a reckless thing with firearms. And I think there is a responsible way to own and take care of them. And I think people should learn how they work and learn how to use them and not fear them. I think anything you fear is a danger.
Listen, I'm going to introduce right now a monk who's going to speak to you. His name's Paul Gyatso. He was imprisoned for 33 years in a Chinese prison inside Tibet.
You're a practicing Buddhist, are you not? Have you changed? You grew up in North America, but have you changed your philosophy? I mean, we live in a violent culture. Are you 100% nonviolent now? Is it something you're still working on?
I mean, I'm still working on getting better at all that stuff. I'm definitely no perfect being. I'm no enlightened being. I got a long ways to go, but I'm a lot more patient now with people, and I think I've definitely come a long way from where I was at, and I'm in the process of learning, of kind of like watching my thinking process and watching my reactions, and I'm getting better at it anyway.
Stop, profile. I said it always brings you back when I hear Ooh-Child. From the Hudson River out to the Nile, I brought the marathon to the very last mile. Well, if you battle me, I will profile. People always say my style is wild. You got gold, you got God. Step to me, I'm a rap profile. If you want a better, go into now. Come and put your ear to check my style. Go ahead, put my rounds, I'll try. Cast you off into exile. Come on now. Jazz and A-Wall, that's our team. Step inside the party, fuck up the whole scene. When it comes to beats, well, I'm a fiend. I like my sugar with coffee and cream. Well, I gotta keep it going full steam. Too sweet to be sour, too nice to be me. But on the top, gonna change the world. I'll apply this scheme. Mario C like to keep it clean. Gonna shine like King Sean Bean. Keep on rapping 'cause that's my dream. Gotta think more deep or stick it to game. Now when it comes to envy, y'all in cream. Jealous of the rhyme and the rhyme routine. Another dimension, new galaxy, and a galactic planetary. Everybody, come on up top. Let's get the fuck up. Come on now. God damn. Come on now. We're from the family tree of old school hip hop. Kick off your shoes and relax your socks. The rhyme was spread just like a pops. Cause the music is live like an electric shock. I am known to do the what? Also known for the Flintstone cops. Jammy teachers getting beers on the clock. DC boys on to let the beat. No one around the city, my name was up. If my rap suit, my beats is stuck. Step from in the table when I start to drop. I'm a lumberjack DJ and rock. If you try to knock me, you'll get mine. I'll stir fry you in my wine. Your knees will start shaking and your fingers pop like a pinch on the neck of Mr. Slime. Yeah.
So for the people out there today.
Well, there you have it, KRS-One talking to the media of the world. Stick around right after this break. We'll have performance by him and others.
And that's the point. When people invite me to their concert, they get the other side of the story.
Welcome back. You are watching MuchMusic's coverage of the Tibetan Freedom Concert 1998. Now, as promised, KRS-One is here, joined with us. Hello, welcome.
Welcome. How you doing? Put your hands on the screen, right?
A question for you. What can a sort of 15-year-old sitting around at home watching this on TV do for the Tibetan cause? I mean, they're sitting there saying, yeah, Tibet, China, I mean, that's the other side of the world. What does it have to do to them?
Well, what it has to do with them is several issues. One, it determines, are you a national thinker or are you a world thinker? And they're both right. If you're a national thinker, then yeah, what does this really have to do with you? There's enough going on right here in America for you to get involved. And activism is very important to a change in the minds of people in any country. But if you're a world thinker and you aspire to think globally, you have to think about China, because if you aspire to be in the world, you cannot assume that a government could just have its way with a people and you not say nothing, because what happens when you're in the face of that government and they're having their way with you? America wouldn't be what it is if people didn't say, yo, you can't do that. You can't do that. We will put our blood down. We'll put our money down. We'll put our music down. We'll put our business. We'll put everything down to make sure that this will never happen again. That's what it's all about. If you're a world thinker.
Any ideas of what people can do to help support this cause, any cause?
Well, I mean, there's lots of things that a person can do. I mean, getting aware and spreading the word is the first thing. I mean, obviously, a lot of what this is about is China's relationship to Tibet. So, I mean, boycotting Chinese goods is a great, that's probably the most effective method of protests. I mean, because the economic people listen to economic protest.
There's an organization called Students for a Free Tibet that has, at this point, like hundreds and hundreds of chapters. When he did the first Tibetan Freedom Concert, there's maybe like 35 chapters, and that's literally exploded, and there's just chapters everywhere. So you could find out about that either on a college campus or even at a high school where you are. And then in addition, I think just also finding out information yourself, either through your local library or going to people within your school and saying, hey, could we have educational materials on Tibet, or could we do a course on Tibetan culture and the background there, and some of the aspects of compassion and nonviolence contained within that.
myself, why, oh why? See, you must understand, I can't work a 9 to 5, so I'll be gone till November. Said I'll be gone till November, I'll be gone till November. You told my girl, yo, I'll be gone till November, I'll be gone till November, I'll be gone till November. You tell my girl, yo, I'll be gone till November. January, February, March, April, May. I see you crying, but girl, I can't stay. I'll be gone till November, I'll be gone till November. And give a kiss to my mother. I had nothing, I had to do something, so I'm knocking on heaven's door like a Bob Dylan. Never contemplating the charges I'm facing. My newborn son, I hope I see his graduation. Take him to the movie, by the cemetery. If my corpse can talk, then I would tell him I was sorry. Lifestyles of the rich and famous. Some die with the name, some die nameless. Every time I make a run, girl, you turn around and cry. I ask myself, why, oh why? See, you must understand, I can't work a 9 to 5, so I'll be gone till November. Said I'll be gone till November, I'll be gone till November. You tell my girl, yo, I'll be gone till November, I'll be gone till November, I'll be gone till November. You tell my girl, yo, I'll be gone till November. January, February, March, April, May. I see you crying, but girl, I can't stay. I'll be gone till November, I'll be gone till November. Every time I make a run, girl, you turn around and cry. I ask myself, oh, why, oh? Yo, see, you got to understand. So I'll be gone till November. Let me say, shall my bell. Yo, I'll be gone till November. Standing on the block where the spot game. Selling rock, guaranteed to get stand up by cookie cops. My bell, I know it's wrong. I wrote this rap song. Forgive me when I'm wrong. Me and cannabis, we working it out. Shit, yo, I got it made. Made last word from the hustler. Hey, young Clef, take care of your mother. Looked at him and replied, yo, daddy, where you going? He said to Baltimore, he'll be back in the morning. Gave my mama a hug. Wow, so when she cried, every man one heaven, no man one die. Vanished through the door, all I saw was his shadow. Heard mom echo, I don't wanna be a widow. That's when I realized death was at hand. Old man pulled off in a black caravan with some dark-skinned brothers who look Sicilian. Singing, come on. Yeah. You can't stop the shining. Why? You wanna stop everybody in the house? Every time I make a run, girl, you turn around and cry. I ask myself, you got to understand, I can't work a 9 to 5, so I'll be gone till November. Tell me, shall my bell. Yo, I'll be gone till November. Standing on the block where the spot game. Selling my charity to get set up by cookie cops. Shall my bell. I know it's wrong, but yo, be a cannabis. Yo, when I say can I, you say bust. Can I bust? Yo, when I say can I, you say bust. Can I bust? We ready to get it on. The 3.5 hour organ embedded in our stores is what makes us better than yours. What other you call? Ain't nobody repping this horse. This gang is gone. Raise hell to the heaven floor. Me and my food keep a billion. Building for plans to make millions. Over a quiet game of billions. Black Sicilians. To the centers of West Indian pilgrims. With the power that collapse buildings. Riding across the ocean floor like Poseidon on the seahorse. Reach our overseas shores. By the middle of March. Pregnancy starts in my latest placenta. I'll be going to November. Throw your hands in the sky. And wave them from side to side. Come on, and if you're ready to rock, with the can I push. Everybody say let's get high. Alright. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Alright. Throw 'em up, y'all.
think that it's important to demand human rights for everyone, and that we need to stop treating each other so poorly and start to have, standards for how we treat our citizens and like who we trade with and how they treat their citizens. Just China, it happens all over the world, that we still mistreat citizens. So I think that's one of the biggest messages here is like treat your fellow man with like kindness,
It is embarrassing to all of us, the Chinese, us, the fact that there's places still in the world, not even Tibet, places that aren't even celebrated, that they don't have a festival for, where people aren't allowed to have basic freedoms, is embarrassing for all humans, really. Human rights is something we're trying to establish everywhere, and I think
it should be universal.
There's not much we can do, actually, as citizens of the United States. All we can do is make noise, which is what we're good at.
One of the things that I think that the 90s in particular have been lacking is sort of an artistic community. And I think that events like these can help us start to get together, help us start to regain focus as a society. I mean, it's going to be 1999. I mean, basically, we're at the turn of the century here. Hopefully with the year 2000, we can get right a lot of these wrongs.
Well, that's it for MuchMusic's coverage of the Tibetan Freedom Concert and Rally 1998. Hopefully people are going to leave here today not only with great memories of music, but also with an understanding of a non-violent culture. We're going to leave you now with some musical highlights. Take care.
Your dirty kind, grab the mic and represent.